Hey everybody, welcome back. We're going to do a pattern called the Crowfly, or sometimes the Smoky Mountain Blackbird. And this comes from Neil Norman's blog, which is a soft tackle pattern book. Neil doesn't do blog posts any longer, but he is active on Facebook. Here's a crow feather, and I've split it down the middle using an X-Acto knife. And on the back side of the feather, there's sort of a groove in the quill, and here I'm kind of pointing it out with the X-Acto knife. And you can just slice down that. This is a wing feather, and that one side you see has like the biots, and the other side a longer flue. And I'm going to use a nymph hook. Neil explains in the blog that the patterns in various books that he saw were weighted, so I'm not going to do that, but I use a nymph hook, black thread. That biot side of that flue split, and I did soak it. There's that white pith. This is good. The body's going to be peacock herl. There is some white pith when you split the feather, and so what I did was I soaked it, and then you can scrape that out of sort of the inside of that quill part that's still attached. And that's the other side of the feather that I just showed you. And I'm just grabbing a bunch of flues off there, and I'm going to use that for the tail, about body length. Neil's blog, the soft tackle pattern book, is most of the posts are still available online. I don't know if he's going to start up again or not, but it's a blog I really miss. Really great writing. There's good information in there about this pattern and some other history associated with similar types of patterns. And he does that for all the posts he does. They're really nicely researched and great information. In the description of this video, like in all my videos, I'll put links to where I got the information and some other information if you're curious about the fly or some more history and want to look at some interesting things. And that's always a good resource, maybe even better than my dyeing of the fly. So I'm gonna do the palmering portion of that split crow quill from back to front. And so I'm putting in 3 peacock herls here. I like to twist it around thread to sort of make a dubbing rope, if you will, just to make it a little bit stronger. It also makes it nice and bushy, gives it a little bit better of a look. So I just did a quick little dubbing loop there, and I'm going to clamp that thread and the 3 herls together and just spin them and make that little peacock herl brush. It adds some strength. We're going to palmer this fly. I don't know if you necessarily need the peacock herl to be strong, but you'll see it using the dubbing brush in this way makes for a really nice body. So I'm just going to wrap that forward in touching turns. Tie it off. Now we're going to palmer this crow section. In the blog post, Neil mentions that many different types of blackbirds can be used, and in fact in Appalachia and in the Smokies there are many species that would qualify. Crow is not easy to get, so starling is probably the easiest to get, and at the end I'll show you a starling fly of this type of fly made with a starling feather. I like the starling actually a little bit better than the crow, to be honest, so I recommend that. I have not fished these. This is the first time even tying this fly, but I can see it being an effective pattern. And when I first did the palmering there, it was a little too tight. I didn't like it, so I went back and loosened up the wrap so you can see a little bit more of the peacock curl through it. And that's pretty much the fly. Really interesting, straightforward fly. In the blog post, Neil talks a little bit about, in general, sort of black palmer patterns having quite a bit of a long history in fly fishing, and this one not being too dissimilar. It's also an obvious relationship between this and probably the most famous Appalachian fly, the yellowhammer, which is a similar pattern, and you can read about that in his blog post as well. And so there's the finished fly. Coming up, this is the one with starling. Thank you very much, and we'll see you soon.